Okie doke. So I've got my west elevation still open, just to remind you that I've extended the reference planes to stretch through all of these levels, for a good reason. But I'm just going to change one of them so that you can see why I've done that. So I've just brought this one back down, just so that you can see. Right? No, you don't need to. I'm just showing you this so you know why I made you do it. So if I go back to one of these upper levels, so here you can see this is level 6. So I'm going to open up my level 6 floor plan and notice how that reference plane's missing. Right? Because it doesn't extend through those levels. So again, if I bring it back to the way I had it, which was just stretch it so that it crosses over those levels, now if I go to level 6, there it is again. Okay, so then to make it maybe the right size, now that we know the size of the building because we've inserted the AutoCAD file, you could, if you want to, you don't have to do this, but it's not a bad idea to move that reference plane so it sits on the edge of the AutoCAD lines. Don't be too fussy about the exact position because you're not really going to use this for your measurements anyway. This is just for a visual reference. Okay, so there we are. And so that way, when I'm looking in the other floor plan views or my elevations, like I was just showing you, I know that those reference planes show me roughly how big the building is. And as I was saying, it's always a good idea to have those levels go out past the building, especially later when you've got the walls and the other things, you don't want the levels sitting over the top. So this is all just good setup, and this is actually how I set up almost every single project that I work on from the outset. I'll set up the plan dimensions. So we've done that with the floor plan from AutoCAD, but just as important with the satellite image. Right, and that tells us how big things are in plan view. But then, equally important, we get our heights using the levels. So those things are often referred to as the constraints for your design. That sets the size of everything, and that's always a good way to start, especially for interior design, whether how big the interior space is. And then now I can go back to my floor plan, since I've got the AutoCAD file luckily here. You won't always have that, but we've got it. So I can now use this to draw my main walls. So I'm going to use the wall tool, and notice I'm clicking on the top half of that button, which uses the default wall option, which is architectural. If you click on the down arrow, then you just have to pick walls architectural. So either click walls architectural or do what I'm going to do, click on the top half of the button above the line, and it chooses that. So then, as a process to draw walls, this is something you can do every time. Check the properties. So you need to know what kind of wall you're drawing, and we've got all the different preloaded types. I don't want any of those, I want to make my own. So I'm going to choose one of the generic wall types, doesn't matter which one. Generic 200mm, it's the one I've chosen. And I'm going to go to edit type. Exactly, we can put our own wall thickness. Yep, that's right, 470, but notice it's greyed out. So firstly, I need to duplicate to give it a new name. Exactly, yeah. So the duplicate lets you give it a new name, but that doesn't change the thickness. So I'm going to call this generic 470mm wall, or even more meaningful, I'm going to say existing 470mm wall. Because that's what it is. The wall's already there, existing. And then where it's got the edit button next to structure, that's where you type in your own thickness, which is where we put in the 470 for the thickness there. And for now, I'm going to leave that finished material, which is just a plain white material, and we'll change it later if we need to. We'll probably make it brick later, but for now I'll leave it on finish. But I'm going to change one thing about the appearance, and that's the coarse scale fill colour. So that's this option here, which a lot of people miss. You've got the colour in the material, but this is just going to change the colour in plan and section. So where it says RGB, that's just red, green, blue. 128, 128, 128. Click there, and then you've got the black there, which should be 000, red, green, blue. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it, that one there. Or just drag this slide to the bottom, and that sets.
Exactly.
Exactly, in plan. That's right. When it's cut, essentially, yeah. So that's it, and make sure it says solid fill above that, but that should be there. And then OK. And then still, before I draw that wall, I'm going to change the height to, well, what do you think it should be? What do you think the height should be? What's the highest?
Shouldn't be connected to level?
Yeah, it's connected to a level. So which level do you think?
Level 1.
Well, that's only going to do the next story. What if you want to go to the top of the building?
So we do level
Parapet.
7.
That's
or
it.
6.
Or parapet.
So we should do like the whole wall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the parapet is the top of the wall. That's what a parapet is.
You actually don't have to put the measurement in, you just put the level in.
Exactly. That's right. We've put the measurements into the levels already. That's right. So it's spot on. Yeah. Parapet. So parapet is the top of the wall. Right? That's the level that you should have for the wall. So you can always go back and check that that level's there, parapet. And then the location line, I'm actually going to set to finish face interior. Right? Because we've got that with AutoCAD. The AutoCAD drawing gives us the interior measurement. You won't always have that, but we've got it here, so I'm going to use that. Finish face interior. And then we're ready to go. So now I can just go around clicking on the inside corner point of the main outside walls. And you can see then that we've got the wall tracing over the right part. That's how it should be. And I'm just going to trace around the four corners, making sure, really important, that I go clockwise. Watch what happens if I go anti-clockwise. Notice the wall goes to the wrong side. So always, if you're not sure, draw clockwise. Okay, so there we are. So notice I get nice black cut patterns in my wall because of that option I set. Okay, and there, now I can come back to the beginning. Right, and even just with those four main walls, going into the 3D view now, we've got the shallow building. Right, nothing special, it's just a big box, but that's a good starting point. And then you'd be amazed how quickly you can get these piers done if you've done them the right way. I've seen people spend days doing this, it just blows my mind when they do it the wrong way. But if you do it the right way, so I'm doing this too quickly, I'm just going to draw a new wall, and then edit type, duplicate, and this is going to be, exactly, yep, that's good, yep, existing 230mm wall. So what's a 230mm wall? What do you think that's made from? Do you recognise those numbers? Exactly, solid brick. So a brick is 110mm thick. So 2 bricks with 10mm of mortar is 230. So that tells solid brickwork, not cavity. And that's exactly what we want, because it's a pier. A pier is just a projecting column, or engaged column. Okay, so here I've got the same options, the height still on parapet, location line still on finished face interior, and you're super lucky with this AutoCAD file. All you need to do is go around clicking. Now, did I change? I forgot to change the most important thing. The width there is still 470, but it's okay because I've set my new name. I can then just click edit to change that structure to 230.
Where's your picture?
So,
There's one on that side.
they should all be the same.
Huh?
Yeah, they should all be exactly the same. So you've got to draw the whole length of the wall first, then draw just the piers. Yeah, no, like this. See how I've got the whole wall, all four, the main walls.
That's mean one of the walls has the extra one.
All of them have the piers. So then now, the way you draw the piers is just over the parts that project. So just like that.
How big is them?
230.
Same as the other one.
Yep. Yeah, well. Okay, so notice I've cancelled in between each one, and I'm just going to go over. Right, so I go over these, escape, and then go over the next one, escape, and just panning across. You can copy them if you know how to copy them, but it doesn't hurt to just draw each one. It won't take you that long. Right, that's right, the curtain walls will go in between these piers. Right, so these are pretty standard shop fronts. And
Can you just zoom out a second?
yep, sure. I'm just going around each one.
No, I mean on the other wall.
Which wall? Yeah, well, it's a bit confusing when you're looking.
You're just doing the whole
Yeah, the windows come in afterwards, that's right. And the window's going to make it look pretty different, so that's why it's good to do this part first.
You're going to do now.
Yeah,
Yeah, but how do we know where the window is?
they fit exactly in between. Yeah. And I've made the window the right size. When I give you the window family, it's already the right size to fit in between. Right, so you just do it like this. They just draw each pier facing the AutoCAD lines. So normally you wouldn't get these measurements like this. You'd have to go and measure them yourself. But here you've been given it, which saves you a lot of time. Yes, exactly. That's right. Yeah. And it's good practice just drawing walls once you get that part done. And and you might know once you've drawn one side, there are ways of mirroring the whole lot to the other side if you want to try that. But again, it doesn't take that long just to draw every single pier like I am here by clicking the 2 points and escape in between each one. And then 3 points for the corners. 1, 2, 3. And yeah, it shouldn't take you that long. It's actually a pretty regular building for building this up this era. It's very modular, which is nice. Right, so nearly done. There we are. So that's the basic shell. Now if I go back to the 3D view, you can already see the pattern of the building. Sort of. So I'll give you a bit of time to try that, and then I'll give you a little talk about curtain walls, and we can also look at putting the windows in.